Are we back yet?
I'm coming on it.
We back yet? Sounds like a kid. Are we there yet? Remember that? Are you there yet?
Are you there yet?
Are we there yet?
Says Ginger's live.
Are we there yet? Says Ginger's live.
Mailboxes by the road.
Okay. Okay, we're going to call it something else.
Well, yeah, I had to give it something. So
we're going to ask some people good title for this that'll show up in the search engines.
Oh, it starts with a commercial, too.
Yeah, okay.
All right, we have 17 people watching, 23. Let's give them a chance to get in before we get going.
All right. You guys, people are watching now?
27.
Hi, our 27 loyal fans, clever computer fans who figured out where we are. This is Ginger. You know, for those of you who are going to watch this video later and just thinking that's weird, what's she talking about? This is what we're painting, these mailboxes by the side of the road. This kind of country road here. This is what we're painting. And we started off with this great live show, and we were bopping along, explaining why you want to miss the back of your canvas to get it nice and tight so it sounds like a drum, and then things were going good, and then they weren't, and then boom, we were gone.
You beat the drum too hard.
Yeah, so not to, beat that drum too hard, as my mother would say, beating the drum, we just disappeared, and so then we had to this is where you have to restart the computer, when in doubt, restart your computer, do all that stuff, and try to get. It's like trying to catch an updraft when you're hang gliding. You're trying to get the right feed to get live. It's not a slam dunk to do this.
You would think it would be, wouldn't you?
Well, you'd think so, but it's still in its infancy. It's really not. And one of the advantages I have to say about doing a live class is that you're going to hear things sometimes that if you were just coming on later, you're not going to hear because maybe it got edited out or it just got dropped off into the netherworlds and of cybernet space or something. It disappears.
Oh, you talk like you know what you're talking about.
Nothing, no clue. But anyway, it's gone, right? Gone. I remember when I first, John. This is so funny. When I first heard about fax machines, I'm going, but where did the paper go? And they said, "We talking about where'd it go? How did it get there?" It was about an hour or two. The first time someone showed me a fax machine, to wrap my mind around a fax machine, I'm going, I don't get it. What happened? What do you mean they got that? I mean, really was extraordinary. And here we're watching a live, kind of like a fax machine. We're watching a live presentation, and this is global. This is kind of neat. Here's what we're painting. You can see that. This little mailbox is 8 by 10. And should be a lot of fun. For those of you who are just tuning in, we had about 275 people watching before we had to switch channels, and not everybody's fast about catching up. But what I have done is I made a dark green background. I didn't want to waste time. Really dark green background. Now the easiest way to make a dark green background is to take phthalo blue, dazzling purple, cad yellow medium. And it's mostly blue and purple with a little bit of yellow, all right? And that makes a really, really good dark green background. I mean, just a perfect one. You see, that's the dark background in here. And we're going to build and then around, all right? That's what we're going to do. And if somebody's saying, I thought you guys were on vacation, we're actually leaving Wednesday. This is May 1st. And so we'll be live tomorrow night, too, with another cool video. And then we're going to hit the road, and I'm really excited about our vacation, and we're going to try to do some fast little videos. If you guys got to watch that little 5-minute blog from the living room this morning, where we talked a little bit about the advantages of using reference photos. I'm going to tell you about my reference photo for this painting. Whoops, I just lost that sheet too. If you can grab that for me, it just fell off, John. This is the reference photo for this picture. Now you'll notice that what I did was I took these flowers, which are kind of, photographers sort of stuck, but as an artist you're not. I kind of moved these over a little bit, and I added a mud puddle, okay? And I took out a few of the mailboxes. I wanted to get the feel of the mailboxes. Thank you so much. I want to get the feel of the mailboxes without, we don't need every one. And I want people are already looking and think, oh gosh, Ginger, this looks hard. I don't know, this looks hard. It's really going to be easy. You're going to be surprised how easy this is, okay? First, one, I'm going to give you a traceable, and then two, I'm going to show you how to draw it on if you didn't have a traceable, okay? So John, this time, does have this traceable on our website, 8
No,
by 10.
it's not up yet.
It's not up yet. I lied. He doesn't have
We
it.
had high intentions, and then I realized my setup needed to be reset up, so I had to move
Well,
all my
sometime
wires.
tonight he'll get it. So by tomorrow morning you should have it, right?
With any luck at all.
Yeah, with, in the creek don't rise, right?
Oh, you had that one?
Yeah, didn't have that? Creek
Oh,
don't
yeah.
rise?
Creek don't rise. The creek don't rise, I'll be
Hey,
there.
we got a good live stream. You should have this up. So that's going to be our fast little traceable. But I also want to take out my chalkboard and show you how to draw it. Because once you understand it, for instance, everybody knows how to draw the letter A, yes? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much, yeah.
So if you had to do a dozen A's, it wouldn't be any harder because you know how to. So I'm going to show you how to draw mailbox 1, and then what's a few more, right? It's like the letter A. If you had to repeat it, it's really simple. Okay. So we're going to talk about that, and we're catching a few people up. And again, my little speech here, it's come to our attention that 50% of the people that are watching these videos on YouTube are not subscribing to the channels they're watching the videos on. And if, again, I'm going to preach to the choir here. I know most of you have all subscribed, and we so appreciate it. If you haven't done it, please do so. All right, this was the koi fish we did last week, all right? And let's see, let me turn it this way. Now, I want you to see, now it's had a full week to dry. Now, do you see how the string gel now is perfectly clear? Do you see that? And it looks like just drops of water all over the canvas and the fish and the koi. Isn't that gorgeous? I didn't put that much on, but you can see it. And all the little cloudy spots have cleared up. And this is perfectly dry now. Now here's something I want to tell you about string gel. I often use string gel. I just pour it over the whole canvas. It's pricey to do that, but I'll just spread it over the whole canvas and make it like it's under glass. It gets some bubbles in it, so it's not ideal. But if you're doing fish, what's a few bubbles in string gel, right? However, when you get it that thick, it may take a week to cure. And if it's dry to the touch and you hold it vertically, okay, like this, if you hold it vertically, the stuff inside can start to melt like some sort of bad frosting on a cake that got warm, and it'll start to, you want to make sure that you keep your picture flat if you're using string gel till it's completely dry. It's really important. I've seen some pretty nice pictures ruined from that. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you and invite you to try the koi fish. That was last week. If you haven't tried it, try the string gel. This is still a little tacky here. Here's the colors we're using: cad red medium, burnt sienna, burnt umber, phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, Dazzling purple, cad yellow medium, yellow oxide, zinc white, and titanium white. Now look, this is our list of cohorts. This is who we always use, except I think we left off magenta. But I mean, this is our deal. This is what we do all the time. We never buy greens. We all, not that I'm cheap. We just don't need to do it. Okay. Now I have some transfer paper, but before I do that, I want to show you with my
3D.
What?
With his what did he call that, Mr. Whoopi, in his 3D blackboard? That was on Tennessee Tuxedo.
Yeah, that was on Fractured Fairy Tales or something, right? It was on
Tennessee Tuxedo and his tails.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna show you just the idea behind a.
Debbie would like to know: do you varnish over the string gel?
I'd like you to varnish before. Don't varnish over the string gel. Varnish before. Okay. So here's basically you're talking about. Let's see. There's not. What is that with the chalk? So with the chalk, let's find another piece. Okay. So you're basically talking about. Here's a box. You're making a box. Okay. Just think about that. That's why they call them mailboxes. All right. You're making a box like this. This is a box. Okay. But in our case, we're not going to see. They're kind of rounded on the top. So basically, what's happening is they're rounded to here like that, and they're not quite that high. Okay. So basically, what you're saying is that this comes up here in an arch like a horseshoe, right? And then you go straight back from the top of the arch like this, and then if you can, there's another little kind of an arch right like that, and then this is this side. I mean, you don't have to put it, but that's your mailbox. Okay. So now if you've got to make another mailbox, okay. I mean, what's changed? Here's your arch. Just make some arches. This is going this way. It's the same box. And so what I like is just kind of. I wanted to put my board here, and then I just put my mailboxes on, all right? But this is the boxes are all, you know, here, they're all in a row here, and then they connect, see?
We're already buffering.
So we're buffering again?
Yep.
Okay, gosh, this isn't any fun, John. I'm not loving that. Well, anyway, that's how you draw a mailbox, all right? So now that you know that, if you want to, someone says, well, where'd you get this nifty photo? I got this at Pixabay. Pixabay. And I got this at Pixabay, and I got it, I looked up mailboxes. There was like 3 pages of mailboxes, so this is not a hard one to find. So if you want to just find the photo, that's fine too. Again, I changed the photo quite a bit, but and also we'll have our traceable. So now that I've established that, I'm just going to take some of this Sorel transfer paper, and I think I'll take yellow. That looks like a nice bright color that would be happy to transfer, doesn't it? Take a little yellow like that. All right, we'll put the transfery side down. That's the bright colored side down. And let's test it, make sure it's still working. It's still working. Seems to be working, you guys. Seems to be working. So I've got that. Might just tape that down, and I'm just going to, for the expediency of it, we're just going to, you know, trace these on real quick, and it'll just for the expediency of it. I think you could easily, just very carefully, just look at that photograph or look at mine and do it yourself. I have great confidence in you, right? So here, let's just put that down like that, and let's see. Let's put this over the other side like this. All right, so there's our paper. Here's this. I'm going to just put this on here like this. Okay, does that give me enough room? Yeah, about like that. Okay. Now, why you want to tape stuff down is if you're tracing something on, you tape it down, you guys, because if it moves, then all your lines are off. I mean, obviously that's kind of obvious, but maybe it wouldn't be to somebody, so I'm explaining it. All right, so I'm going to say there's that, and make sure I have it up on the top like this, because my paper's here like that. There we go, because it's something dealing with straight lines and stuff, so we're going to do that. I'm going to just tape this on here just like this. Okay, that should be pretty good. Now, let's see if it's working.
What's the name of that tracing paper we're using?
Oh, this is really good stuff. We've been buying this on Amazon. It's called Sorel. It comes in like either in like wax paper rolls, which is yards of it, and my gosh, that's like a lifetime worth of colors. Or I like this one. It's their sampler, and it's like, you know, little regular typing size sheets, and it comes with blue, white, gray, and yellow, and red. And so to me, this is more practical because you can always tape a couple together if you needed it. Okay, let's see. Did that work on it? That worked. So that's why I like that. Okay. But all right, so everybody's pretty satisfied with how I explained what we were doing here with our little mailboxes. I think so, okay? And John and I have been getting ready for our trip. As you guys know, we're leaving Wednesday morning. This is May the 2nd. It's May the 1st right now. Today's May the 1st. Tomorrow's May the 2nd, and we're leaving on the 3rd. And we're hoping, and you know, we've got some pretty good idea that we want to be able to do this. We're really thinking that we can, and no reason why we couldn't. What our big plan is, I want to square this away just a little bit more than I had it, okay, is to be able to do some live broadcasts on the road, okay, and that's what we're really looking forward to doing, and you know, finding some places with Wi-Fi and just stopping somewhere and just sharing our journey with you, our little trip. And then when we're on the, you know, we'll be in Kissimmee first, and then we're heading on down to Fort Lauderdale to take this cruise. That was my birthday present from John, this cruise. And we thought we could do some. We have internet on the ship as far as being able to access our members. The people that are members of GingerCookLive.gallery get free art coaching, and we don't do anywhere where we can't get internet. We wouldn't go if we, you know, if that would have affected that. But it's not real fast, but we can eventually get to everybody, and we'll see along with what you're commenting on, like that. Got this awfully close to the edge here. Look at that. I kind of needed to move this whole thing over a little.
Ooh.
Well, what do you do with that?
Erase it. Erase it and slide it over.
Erase it and
What's the
slide
name
it
of
over.
the
that's good to know, right? I think I think we have a plan B. Want to hear what the plan B is? The plan B is that we're going to take the tracing paper and move it, and we're going to put this on first. You like that?
Yeah.
That's smarter, right?
Yeah, that's.
Because I want a little bit more room. I think the way it got printed, I needed a little more room on this side.
Yes.
It was too close to the edge here.
Yes.
All right, even if you're printing it out, see, it got a little close. I needed a little more room on that side, right?
Yes.
All right, now I'm going to put the tracing paper. I'll turn it upside down, put it in here like that, and let's just take me a minute to trace again. All right.
What's the name of the your palette paper?
The palette paper is, I get this at Jerry's, and I think we've got it, taped back here. It's just it's by Soho, and I like the gray because you just want any wax palette paper. Because on a live show like this or on a video, if I'm putting white on a white paper, you really can't see anything. You see the light colors, and the gray really allows you to see it better. All right, you guys, next plan. You like it?
I'm loving the next plan.
This is plan B. You've got to be prepared for plan B. You can't get upset about the small stuff.
Yeah.
The big stuff is that we were, losing feed. Let's see, this is working fine, you guys. Will just take me a minute. One of the advantages of having a little sketch like this, or even sketching the mailboxes out in freehand in case you were going to make this bigger, is then putting it on paper and then transferring it on, is if someone says, oh, that's so beautiful, you don't look busy, I don't suppose you would consider making me one, would you? Haven't you ever had anybody say that to you? You look so unbusy, and I tell you what, I have this great wall in the living room that has nothing, and wouldn't you love to make me one? And you're going, wow, sure, I will. Let me just give me my commission rates here. Happy to make it for you. What did you have in mind? And I'll tell you the size. Give me the square inches, and I'll tell you how much it's going to cost. But those of you who can't say that to your relatives, we've had talks about that before. But anyway, in case you ever want to make it again, having it on a piece of paper where you can just transfer the image on, again, can be very helpful, don't you think? I think so too. Yeah, like that, coming under here like that. Here's our, I think our post ends here. The board ends here, and this one's out. I don't know how that one's even there, but it was in the. Here, let's just put this down like that. Then let's come along here like this, where our grass is going to be. Okay, you guys, do we got that? Oh, we do. Excellent. How far did I get? Oh, this is perfect. Look at that. See? Are you impressed? There it is, right?
Oh,
on.
plan B was perfect.
Yeah, see, well, it's just better to just stop and, get it right, So, all right, so here's our colors again for those of you who popped in late. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you want to know where the actual photo is, I found this at Pixabay, and I looked under the search engine Mailboxes. That's one of those free sites for images. Okay, and we talk a little bit about that on the blog I did earlier today.
On the vlog.
Blog, something. Whatever we did earlier with the stuff.
Whatever we did.
But I don't remember. Okay, so I'm going to go with titanium white. I'm using a little angle brush. It's a ruby satin silver angle brush. And I'm going to just come here like this. And I think I'll put a little tiny bit of water on the brush and then wipe it off. Okay, now I'm not completely dry here on my canvas. Do you see that? Because you see that the mailbox is turning a bit gray. But that could be what Bob Ross used to call a happy accident.
Yeah,
Okay?
happy
You know
accidents.
what I mean? Happy accident. In fact, there's a mailbox just down the street from us. Looks just like this. We were passing it today on the way out to our P.O. box. And it's all rusted like this. Remember that? I should take a picture of that and show you guys. All right, remember this is at an angle. This one goes at an angle. And if you want to zoom in a little bit, John, you could.
Oh, you let me do that?
This is a black one. Yeah, I would highly recommend it, just as a thought. I'm going to miss my paint here. It was fine when we started out, but everything kind of dried out here as I was waiting for the big show, as they say, the big show to come on, all right? So, here, let's, I'm going to say that this one is, Here's this one like that. You don't have to be too careful. I mean, this is an impressionistic picture. You gotta go with that a little bit of white and cad yellow medium, a little bit of white. Make the inside of this a little lighter. Remember, you're making just an upside down letter U, or I mean, it's like an upside down horseshoe shape. Okay, and let's make this one. See, that's going to be a white light one too. Okay. Here's the inside. I've just changed the color slightly. Might even leave this dark edge. I think I want even a smaller brush than that. What do I got? I have smaller brushes.
Don't you have your quarter
Yeah,
inch?
here's a tiny one. I want that one. Okay, this is a 1/4 inch. So I finally want to say, have to say that probably the brush I use all the time are the angles, and those are probably the brushes I use all the time. Okay, and so I'm going to say here's the inside of this one, and I have the different sizes, and I just absolutely love them. They're my favorite brush in the world because you can do so much with them. Okay, really, you've got such a wide variety of things you can do with an angle brush. All right, so I just want to get enough of this in here, right like that, where when we go to put the foliage in, I don't lose all my mailboxes, which would be really tragic. All right, here's a little yellow, a little bit of cad red medium, make a little orange color, and I'm just going to come in here like this, and I'm just going to get some sort of color on here so I know where this mailbox is different. Now remember, try to keep the top of these, they're really straight across the top of these. So, really kind of level. There's going to be some orange in here too, but like that. And then this is our dark one. This one's purple. I've got a dark purple one here with a little tiny bit of white. And and probably in real life it's black, but we're not using black, so if you put a little yellow with purple, that kind of softens it a bit. See, there's the inside of that. And then we'll take a little bit of cad red medium and a little bit of ultramarine blue and a little bit of white. We're going to make this kind of gray color. A little bit more white.
We have a lot of people who are showing up now. They're
Hi, you guys.
Can you tell us what the background color was again?
Yeah, let me tell you what the background color is, because what we did was, here's our picture, so you guys aren't confused. Here's what we're painting. And to get this background color, what we did was we used phthalo blue, Dosney purple, and cad yellow medium, and probably just a small, maybe about 10-15% yellow. And we covered the whole canvas in that color and dried it almost. And then I showed you this great thing on how to draw in the mailbox, right? And then just so you wouldn't be freaked out, I said that, probably by tomorrow morning we'd have a fast little traceable so you could outline it if you wanted. Or you can pop over to Pixabay and type in search engine mailboxes. I think it's on page 3 or something, is that photo of the mailboxes. So it's pretty straightforward if you want to go ahead and get your, line up and get some mailboxes here for yourselves, okay? All right, so let's see. I want a little bit more white here on this one. All right, so thank you very much for that. And we're what we're doing right now is just basically we're kind of getting a general outline of our mailboxes, just a general one, so that when we put the foliage in, we've got a fighting chance of not losing the mailboxes, since we went to all the trouble to tape them in here. So I've got a little orange here. So again, the question we started to ask the question before we got booted off the air here. So the question, I guess I'll still ask the question. This is some burnt umber here. We're going to come under here with a little burnt umber. The question we're asking is, does anybody else besides those of us in the United States and Canada, does anybody else use these kind of mailboxes in the world? We were very curious to see if anybody else used these mailboxes. Okay, we've got some little side sticks sticking out here like that, little side sticks. Okay, and then we got just kind of a dark, it's really a dark post under these mailboxes. It's dark here, gets a slightly bit lighter here like this. Gets a little bit, maybe not quite that light, more burnt sienna. Okay, under here like that. Let me say that there's that. Okay. So we were just curious, because this so says rural United States. These are pretty much anywhere. When I was a kid, one of the biggest things that was a big thing in were you ever a mailbox basher, John, or were you too good a kid for that?
Sorry, I did not mash mailboxes.
But there were kids that used to drive by
Yep.
in cars in high school. This was a big thing back in the 60s. And they'd take a baseball bat and knock them all down as they were driving in the car, go wham, right? And yeah, terrible, right?
Little did they know that was a federal offense.
Yeah, they probably should. I'm sure they didn't, but because messing with the mail here is just like one of the worst things you can do. I have to tell you, I had a neighbor one time, and she's passed away, so I can talk about her. Yeah, don't you think? Okay, and she got a job delivering mail. Okay, this is a great story. So she got a job delivering mail for them, and they put her in our neighborhood, and so she knew, and then her route included the people, the kids, the families of the kids her kids went to school with. And so she started opening their mail to see what was going on in their lives. She couldn't stop herself. This is actually, they've got I guess a facility somewhere in the United States where they send disgruntled postal workers who can't resist opening mail.
And give them all the junk mail to open?
I don't know what the deal is,
Part
but
of their
they try to,
therapy?
because they try to get them help, because apparently this is a very real thing. Come on, that's sort of interesting in itself. Come on, it is, right?
That is. It's a little bizarre, but...
Well, of course it's bizarre, but I mean, there you go, right? And make sure that this line's sort of uneven, okay? So we're going to put the little brush in water now. Let me remember where I put it in the first container. We're going to come back with our bigger brush. And now that we kind of have this, we know where everything is, let's just go play with our greens again. Here's some yellow, a cad yellow medium, and a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of phthalo blue, like that. Pretty good bright green. Now let's take a tiny bit of cad red medium with it, just tone it down just a bit, right? And let's start putting in some green foliage next to our mailboxes. That old rule, wherever there's a light, there's a dark kind of thing. Let's start putting in, some sort of green here so that our mailboxes show up. Oh, what a good plan, right?
Rebecca would like to know, do you have a preference between Liquitex and Matisse?
My daughter and I, Cinnamon and I, were talking about that today, about the different paints. And, I just threw out a Matisse, a tube of Matisse paint that I'd had for a while, and it was... because it had gotten hard, and I hadn't used it, and I was feeling very grumbly about that. And I think that what happens is it depends on the day. You know what I mean? I think, is there a perfect acrylic? I don't know that there is, but I'll tell you this. I love the colors in Matisse. I love the caps in Liquitex. Let me just show you this. This is a self-cleaning cap. Every time you put this little cap back on, it cleans the throat of the paint tube. How nice is that? Okay, but on the other hand, I really love the colors in Matisse. Golden is a very good paint too. I really like them too. I think that for years I did Matisse because I was teaching at Jerry's, and that was the paint they would like me to feature. The thing about Jerry's Artorama, for the longest time, they've had a kind of exclusive. Put a little bit more blue with this. I think I'm out of blue. Oh, let's put some more out. They've had an exclusive in the United States with Matisse. I think that's changing. I can't say for sure, but I think that's changing because Matisse is made in Australia. So it's a nice color. They have nice colors. It's a nice paint. I like the people that have the company very much. I'm going to put just some green back here behind these mailboxes. I want to let some of this background show. I'm just sort of staggering the green a little bit here like that. Just enough to get to give the sense that we have something. Let's put a little bit of burnt sienna with it. Kind of, if you add red to green, it tones it down a bit. So we're just going to come back here and just suggest that there's these woods back here, okay?
The deep woods.
The dark woods, right?
The deep, dark, scary woods out by the mailbox.
The scary woods. Oh, yeah. So anyway, I think that I like them both, you know. I like them both, and I really like golden too. So, you know, everybody's kind of here. Let's just get this a little bit brighter here next to this post here. Okay, and then when we come underneath, we got to do something else. But we're going to come up here. Now, if we add a little more yellow and a little bit of mixing white here, that zinc white, that won't lighten it up so much. And then let's put some highlights on some of these branches. Think of the light kind of coming this way, and we're just going to suggest some of these branches are a bit lighter. This foliage coming down here. Because remember, you're happily painting along, and then acrylics dry darker. Let's try a little yellow oxide with that. Kind of brighten some of this up here like that. There you go. We're just going to say that that's
Barbara says that the Liquitex caps fit on the golden paints.
Do they?
We haven't tried that combination.
Well, we haven't. Do we have any golden paints? Do we have any golden stuff? I don't know if I have a golden tube handy. I would try it, because that's well, then it would clean it too. I mean, that's lovely. All right, so we know we want some of this grass coming down here on the side of the road. Let me just show you real quick. Where'd my reference photo go here? Let me just see how they've got a little grass like down here, right? We're putting that. You know, sometimes I don't get totally involved with the, you know, however the reference photo was, but I thought in this case this was fairly handy to suggest that this was happening here like that. Let's see. Now we need put a little bit of phthalo blue and a little mixing white. Get more of a blue-green going here. And this behind this one here, I want some sort of little blue-green foliage going like that.
We have a confirmation from Wendy that they do work.
Wow.
Liquitex works on golden.
Well, you know, I never throw away caps. It probably sounds like I'm a hoarder, but...
no, you're always losing them.
Well, I have a whole... Look over there, John. See that bucket over there?
Yeah, it's all caps.
Yeah, show people. Grab that for me, would you? I want to show people.
I can't even get to that anymore.
Really?
Really?
I have a whole drawer full of caps.
I have to move cameras and everything to get rid of
I have a whole drawer full of caps, so that's good. See, then that would be enough to make me want to change. I want you to know that the cap thing is an issue for me, because it's solvable. John and I have actually solved the problem. It's just, you know, getting around to doing something about it. I can solve it. I solved it years ago.
But it's just silly that it has to be solved.
But it's silly that it has to be solved. Why am I the one solving their problems,
Yeah.
right? I guess that's my big issue. Why am I the one solving their problems? I'm going to just put a few little grassy things here like that. See how you pinch your brush like this, kind of wet it, pinch your brush, go back into the, here, mist the paint, mist. Hi, Wendy. Thank you. Hi, Wendy. Let's say hi to our monitors, you guys.
Moderators.
Moderators.
Do they look like monitors?
I don't know. Monitors are lizards, aren't they?
What?
Monitors are lizards. Everybody knows that, right? Aren't they? Lizards?
Marie would like to know, does it matter that there are an even number of letterboxes?
Probably. But, you know, listen, this is all I felt like drawing. Probably so.
Yeah,
you know,
yep.
Probably so. Probably all matters terribly. But you know what? Good point. But here, let's do a little lighter grass on here, and I'll talk about that. Right there, see, a little lighter grass up there. You're going, gosh, this went fairly fast, Ginger. Look what you're doing. You'll be done in no time. This took me a while to figure out how to do this, but now that I've got it down, okay. Now I'm going to take a little bit of yellow oxide, and I want to put some light green. Pinch the brush here, and I want this sort of light green kind of mossy effect on this log right here in this front one. Okay,
that's a log. That's interesting. I would refer to it, you know, like a 4x4 or something, but a log. I like that. Does it look like a log? It's not round. You have it square.
No, it's actually a 2x4, isn't it?
No, it's a 4x4.
Well, what's the difference?
It's 4 inches by 4 inches. two by 4 stuck together, maybe.
No, look at this. This is not this is a 2x4. Then.
Well, the one at the end's a 4x4. You better make them the same.
This is a 2x4.
Hey, do you know what to release this week?
I give up. What's the release?
I'm sorry, we're on vacation. Leave a message at the tone. Beep.
I give up. What's the release?
Yeah. They want to know what's releasing. I don't know.
You're such a know-it-all. What's the release?
Oh, it's the kitchen.
What kitchen?
The kitchen still life with a yellow hat.
Oh, this one. This one. This is the release.
Da, da, da. See, we were prepared.
This is the release for our members. Listen, everybody says, why would I want to become a member of Ginger Cook Live Gallery? Because that's the best $30 you'll have ever spent during the month. That's why. Because you get personal art coaching and the niftiest paintings, one every week, and there's over 300 paintings on the website, and they go from very, very easy to super challenging, but step by step, and so everybody's doing it. I've got a shout out to Nicole East, who just finished our Wave and Water Masterclass painting, and we would be more prepared if I had it to show you, but you know, it was the heartbreak one with the ship and everything, and then this painting's way over there. Why is that over there?
I took it away from you because you were throwing paint all over the place.
Well, bring it back. Bring it back. See, you can't, you know, but anyway, see, it's hard to, but anyway, that's some of the stuff that we're doing. We wanted to make sure that when we were out of town that you guys had videos, both for YouTube and for our website, okay?
Don't show this until I can zoom back out so it has room for it.
I won't. I'm still doing light things here. See, we're doing little light things here, like that. A little bit of light things at the front here, a little bit of purple in that, see? Here's the light, little bit of light,
purple,
little bit of light right here. That, and then this is little. I think these are 2x4s.
Also, the other thing with the lessons on the website, you don't have the chit chat. You get down to lessons. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to Ginger and I having fun.
Yeah, but I tell you great stories. Some of the best stories are on my website. You know, the family gossip, all that stuff. You know, the family gossip. You know, the stuff that you're going, wow, I can't believe that her family was like that. I mean, you gotta appreciate it. That birthday video. Those of you who didn't catch that one, that we did the birthday video, and I tell you the whole thing about how my mother committed suicide on my sister's birthday. Invited a whole guest room full of people to come, and you know, like 40 guests to come to their condo.
Yes, there will be videos where we're going.
And so anyway, yeah, that's a good story. I mean, there's some great stories. Or how I met my first boyfriend in Spain. I've got that one on the lobster video with the lobster claws. In that video, I tell you about my Spanish boyfriend. How my parents told everybody when I was 15, I was 18 because they didn't know what to do with me during the vacation, and they thought if they told these boys I was 18, they'd take me off their hands. Little did they know, you know. So I don't know what they were thinking. Maybe they weren't thinking. They just wanted their own vacation and, you know, whatever. But anyway, there's some shocking stuff that goes on some. They're not shocking in a bad way, but just sort of, gosh, really? No idea people live like that. Yeah, so there's that too.
Okay, you want to show the wave? Nope, you got paint in your brush again.
Well, I can put brush down. I can show the wave of water. Yeah. Okay, so you guys, I'm so excited. I have to tell you this. We're kind of, look.
Yes, Nancy.
Every month we try to do, and you know, our goal is to get a new release out. Sometimes it takes a little longer because the paintings are getting bigger and more elaborate. You know, it's a lot. One thing you're doing 8x10. It's another thing when you're doing a big one. But this is our new release for our Wave and Water that's coming soon. Look at that. You want to zoom back out a little bit more on that.
Wow, that's so big. How big is that? That's 1620 or bigger?
Yeah, 16x20, I think. But it's really nice, isn't it? So that's our new release of Wave and Water for our Wave and Water Masterclass. That's our new one that John is still uploading and editing. Yeah, all right. So I love this. And this was done, incidentally, the original on this was from an artist by the name of Guy Rose, and we talk about him and tell you a little bit about him, and that was originally done in the 1800s. I'd like to introduce you not just to my original paintings, but to some of these old dead guys. Sort of fun to, and he was an American too, which I think is kind of cool. Everybody thinks all the artists were just, you know, just
European.
European, right? Or just, yeah, you know,
or
French
foreigners.
Foreigners, right?
Well, foreign
but, you know, I'm kind of straightening this out a little bit here as I draw. I had that one chipped a little bit, and I'm kind of straightening that out, and I'm adding a little white to the top of this now. Starting to add some color, so that was kind of exciting. So we've got, you know, so you'll see those kinds of stories, but really we get down to the nitty gritty in the lessons for sure. On here's a little white and yellow oxide, and on our regular lessons on our website too, we try to do that. Now look, there's show a little bit of burnt, you know, sienna. Now as long as we're fooling around with the light colors, right? We're almost, this is kind of fun. You're just surprised, aren't you, how just this bopping along this is? Let's take a little bit of burnt umber and yellow oxide. Let's just come on up here like this. Make this a little crooked and just bring a little tree up like that. Okay, and then maybe have, please, no spaghetti trees.
What's wrong with spaghetti trees?
Well, you just, they're not just, they're not spaghetti. You know, you see people make spaghetti trees. So I did see a spaghetti tree the other day, and I thought I would photograph it for you guys. I actually saw a spaghetti tree after my big speech about no spaghetti trees. I actually saw one here in Houston. Here's a little bit of light coming on the outside of that. Okay, like this. Just these little angle brushes. There you go. Okay, so we've got a little tree there, and then we've got something kind of coming down here like this. You don't have a shoe I can have, do you, John?
A shoe?
Can I have a one of your shoes? I'm not wearing any shoes, or I'd volunteer mine.
What are we going to do to it?
I'm not going to paint it. Just give me a shoe. Gosh, he's so
things I
mistrusting,
do.
isn't he? Give me a shoe. You got
I know
a
what
shoe?
I've seen what you do with your paint. It ended up all over my bear.
I know. These things happen. All right, here's.
These are my good ones too.
All right, all right. Well, the brush is going away. Everybody sees that, right? Brush is going. I want to talk to you about how to use an angle brush. All right. I'm just going to put this away.
What does that have to do with the shoe?
Well, all right. So here's an angle brush. Okay. So when you use it like this, when you use it like that, that's like your shoe doing this. Okay. Does that make sense? When you're using it like that. But when you put it on its knife edge like this, when you do it, when you pinch it, put it on its knife edge, that's like doing this, okay? But then when you tip it up and you just are touching the last three bristles of the brush, those last three, that's like doing it on the toe. Does that make sense? Now you're always going to, now one of the things you never do with an angle brush is that you always, if it's the long end is facing away from you, you always pull towards you. You never pull up, push up, because that just flattens it, okay? It's like brushing a dog the wrong way on the fur, okay? So it's always down, and then you tip it up, and then you just barely are touching the last three little hairs, and that's how you get these thin lines. Isn't that cool? So you can remember that wide is this way, and then, you know, when you have it on edge, that's like this, and then when you tip it up, that's just like on your toe, okay? See? Great demonstration.
And there goes my shoe across the room.
I just threw a shoe away. I had to find it now. So, sorry. All right. I just had to. We had to pause for a commercial. You know, for that little break.
We had to pause for the Crocs commercial, and if you like Crocs camos, please send us a message. Operators are standing by. 1995.
All right.
Act now. You get the second one for just half price.
All right, so we want a little bit of phthalo blue, a little ultramarine blue, a little bit of white, tiny bit of burnt umber. We're going to kind of gray this a little bit. We're making sort of a gray, cloudy color like this, and we're going to come in here like that and suggest that there's a puddle in front of our mailboxes like that, little puddle. And then let's take a little bit of purple to that and a little cad red medium, a little more white. And let's see what other color we want. Maybe a little burnt sienna. All right, and then I want to come along here like this and just suggest road.
Suggest a road.
Just suggest a road. This is color 1 on the road. Okay, like that. Just going to just over the dark. We're just going to suggest some sort of little dirt road for now. Now maybe a little burnt sienna in it, just all by itself. Maybe a little bit of burnt umber. Here's our little dirt road here, you guys, with our puddle. All right, so there we go. And then that's going to be our puddle. Now, that's a good place for the puddle to just hang in there while we're doing other stuff. Puddle can just sit there, right?
Puddles will just sit there.
Puddle is sitting there. All right, so back to the angle brush, which we talked about. So we want a light highlight. So you'll see me pinching it. You'll see me pinching the brush all the time. Do we have any questions we can answer, John, while we're doing this?
I'm sure there probably are questions that are being asked somewhere in the world, and we probably have some kind of opinion on them, but our group seems to be entertaining themselves at the moment.
Okay. All right. All right, that's good. We got a little branch there. Maybe I've got one coming down this way. All right, so you remember, see what I'm talking about? You're talking about just the knife blade. Okay, like that. All right, just the knife blade. Just kind of keep it easy.
Frisky would like to know, whose luggage can I stow away in?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to fight a lot of people want to go in that luggage.
Yeah. Speaking of luggage, we painted ours this weekend. I painted ours. And I shot a video on how I did it, and I now know how to do it and how not to do it. So be sure to watch that.
Yeah, we did one with and one without.
And we'll tell you about that in the video. I mean, I shot a video on how to do it, and I figured out, I saved one, but it was not working. Okay? All right, so I'm going to just come up like that. All right, so there you go. There's that tree. Now, do I need to have any other light things here? Maybe a little bit of lighter right like down here like this where this is touching.
Hey, Ginger.
Yeah.
Do you have that dice handy?
I have the dice handy. Should we play some trivia while we're painting and you guys are going to watch us paint this in? 5, John. This is our art trivia game. Yeah?
5. That's a how question. This is an art trivia game. 600 questions. Oh, thank you, Tanya, for your donation.
Oh, gosh.
Thanks,
Tanya.
Have a wonderful cruise. We will have a wonderful cruise.
Thank you so much, you guys. And
even though we are gone, this is how we get a chance to actually get some work done. Because when we're in the studio, all we do is paint and film and edit. So this gives us a chance to do the other housekeeping that we need to do. So it's not really a vacation. I mean, Ginger keeps referring to it as a vacation, but she'll be working the whole time. She doesn't know it yet, so don't tell her. Okay, well, I have a question for you. I don't know how this is a how.
This is a Stump the Artist question.
This is a Stump the Artist question. Which color is Prussian, electric, or midnight?
Prussian? Electric or midnight? Oh, I know that one. I know that one. Anybody else know that?
You can't hear me? I can hear me fine.
Now mention the names of the people when they shout out the answers, because we want to know who knows what.
Diane says blue.
Diane says blue.
Read the question twice. Which color is, what is it, Prussian?
No, that wasn't the question.
Which color? That's the question.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
You guys not hear me tonight?
Okay, try it again.
No, I can. I haven't said anything. I haven't done anything. Midnight, blue. Ivan's saying blue. Kimson said it's midnight. No.
The question was what the word Prussian, electric, and
midnight.
And midnight refer to what?
Refer to which color?
Oh well, then if you mentioned the word color, you gave it all away.
Well, no, they came up with the right answer. Apparently, you didn't.
I did. What are you talking about? I did. I was waiting for them all to talk.
Yes, Patricia, we will be adding new videos to the storefront. I've got like 10 ready to go up there if I get my act together. I never heard the question. Can you guys not hear? Hello, is this thing on? Hello. I had to move things around. Can you hear me? Okay, so Candy saying blue. SL Rogers Bird says blue. Gail says blue. Skirter says blue. Laura says almost Favelish. Don't know what that is. Robin says blue. Sherry says blue. Barbara says blue. Cheryl says blue. Megan's blue. Wendy's blue. Everybody's really saying blue.
It's blue's the answer, John. It's blue. Prussian blue, electric blue. Yeah, that's all blue. It's blue. Yeah, can you think of some other blues when you're thinking about that? When you're talking about
Cobalt.
Yeah. How about music blues?
Music blues. The jazz, baby. Now you're talking. Yeah. Give me another question. Roll that die.
4.
Can hear you, but it was hard to follow what was going on. Well, yeah.
All right, so what we're doing here, for you guys that are new to this, they don't know what they're doing. We didn't introduce this right, John.
Okay, let's start over.
We didn't introduce it. We play an art trivia game every live show. So those of you who are just following along going, what on earth are they talking about? It's called Stump the Artist, and, which is fine. That's what the name of the game is here, Stump the Artist. And remember, and it's really fun to play. And John, we have a game that we got over 600 questions. We bought this just for artists, this art game, and we just thought, sometimes there's a little lag time in, in painting all this stuff in, right?
Because you can pretty much follow her without saying, I'm now painting green, I'm now painting blue.
So John thought that we would just do that. You see I'm adding a little light green here. Be sure you're putting some reds in these greens so that they're not just golf course green, and that we're putting a little green on
don't do golf course green.
We're putting a little green. I love the green mold on the kind of dry brushing. This is dry brushing, where you take all the water off the brush and then pinch it and then have a little tiny bit of paint and just kind of, there's always a little bit of paint left on the brush and just kind of rub it on there like that.
Especially with the ruby satin silvers.
Yeah, those are good. And incidentally, I still want to, I'm going to plug while you're getting that next question, I want to plug our friends at the Brush Guys, because we talked to them the other day and, and said, where are the ruby satin silvers? Because they give our, myself included, they give us all a 5% discount on their brushes, which really makes it a great savings. If you do the word Ginger Cook all one word as a code word at the end at checkout, and if you go to thebrushguys.com and then you go to the teachers, you kind of scroll down teachers, and you'll see teacher page will come up, and there'll be myself, my daughter Cinnamon, Angela, we're on there, and you go to my page, you'll see my list of brushes, and you'll see these ruby satin silvers mentioned, and then occasionally you'll see some things are sold out, but they're not. No, the world is not out of these things, and they will be getting more in all the time, and so I'm just I'm very happy with these brushes. I wanted to say that. All right, a little bit of white back there here. Okay,
I have a question. This is a gimme. There's another gimme for you. Okay. So everybody can be a winner.
All right.
In which city did Andy Warhol have his artist studio?
Well, some people, does anybody even know who Andy Warhol is? Some people may not know.
Well, we're going to find out. London, Miami, or New York? Again, in which city did Andy Warhol have his artist studio? London, Miami, or New York? Okay, Cheryl says New York, Gail says New York, Kimson says New York, Wendy says New York, Gail says New York, Sue says, I don't know who he is.
All right, Andy Warhol.
Wow, they're flying by.
Andy Warhol was the guy that she's so brilliant. I mean, I had an art teacher, and she said, well, she got her master's in it at the university, and she now knew what art was, and only the people that were misinformed didn't get it. And I'm saying, it could be that people do get it, and they're smart enough to know that it's stupid, and they're willing to say it, but everybody's afraid to say it for fear they look dumb. Nobody wants to appear dumb. Nothing's more intimidating than going into an art gallery and having some snotty dressed woman in high heel shoes and pearls look down her nose at you because you maybe wandered in jeans and want to look at the pretty pictures, and you possibly don't look like you could buy anything because their price tags are up there. I mean, no wonder people get a little intimidated by this stuff. But honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you don't like something.
I don't think so either.
And Andy Warhol, he did. There was a very famous one he did of Marilyn Monroe, and he did her in kind of almost like a negative, but it was like in green and blue and red, like 4 squares. That's who he was, and he's dead now. And he hung out in New York with all the other kind of drugged out artists, and
had a wonderful time.
And had a wonderful time and had a great life and lots of parties, and it was a big deal, and that was the part of the art scene. But is it art? Well, it's clever. And then my art teacher used to say, well, no one's ever thought of it before. And I'm going, do you suppose that could be because they did think of it, thought it was a really stupid idea, and decided not to do it? How about that, right? Now I'm going to do some of these flowers a little bit. I'm putting in a few little flowers up here like that. I'm going to just do a few over here. These little flowers like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just do a couple over here like that. This can be drying.
No, chatting does not cause a problem with the video feed. It's a separate feed.
All right. So now while that's drying, okay, so we're going to lighten up the blue a bit. And do this next layer of light blue in the puddle, like that. Okay, so that's our next little layer.
I like that.
Okay, and then we're going to take a little bit of the dark brown, and we're going to come straight down from there, and we're going to just suggest a reflection.
Yep, I say it look like a reflection there.
right like that. We're going to suggest that reflection, and then the trick is, let's take a little bit of reddish brown color here. And I'm sorry, did we answer? The answer was New York, you guys.
Everybody had New York.
You know, that pretty much. But that's who Andy Warhol
That was just way too easy. Let's roll that die again. Let's get something a little more challenging with these people. They're just on a roll tonight. What do you got?
2.
A 2.
2.
A 2. That's a what? That's a what question.
All right.
Categories are who,
notice
what,
I keep,
where,
keep,
when.
I keep working on the rust. Do you see that? I keep adding more colors to the rust. I'm going to make this a rust color at the end of this.
Huh.
I didn't in the first picture, but I think that could be good too. Just have that kind of rusty. And make this a little bit darker red here. And a little bit of purple. I want it a little bit darker between these two mailboxes right here, right between the sides here. Like that, okay. All right, so you see we're kind of balancing out stuff here as we do it, right?
Carol was wondering if the golden turquoise was super close to the Matisse Southern Ocean.
Well, you know, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I have no idea because I've never bought any golden turquoise. So, but I would tell you is that phthalo blue and phthalo green and white make a pretty good Southern Ocean blue.
Comes very, very close to it.
So, you know, I mean, then you have to ask. Then the question then becomes, is that changing brushes? Get the smaller one here to get into all these little cracks and crevices on the mailbox. Okay, so then so that point I don't know, but that's Southern Ocean blue is pretty because you don't have to mix it. It's a very pretty color, but you can make it. You can make something similar enough where it's fine. Azo gold, you know, their Australian sienna is not something I've found you can mix. The closest to that would be the Azo gold in golden. And I think that a lot of us are perhaps, I think that the thing that when we talk about, Cinema and I talked about this today about, you know, acrylic paints and stuff, right? Well, like for instance, she got a bunch of Holbein paints in. They look very nice. I've never tried them, and they may be nice. I've always been stopped a little bit by the price, and I think there's something to be said for you get what you pay for in some cases. But on the other hand, you know, I do a lot of paintings, and most of this acrylic paint work stuff, I've been using Liquitex for years. They've changed companies a few times. Is it the same quality that I used to get 20 years ago? I don't know. Let's lighten up some of this in here like that. I really couldn't tell you, but I try to use, I use really pretty much either Matisse, Liquitex, or Golden. Those are my 3 standbys because they're all professional acrylics. They're all pretty close. All right, so we got a little mixing white now. Now look what happens here. We're going to come over our puddle and come across our, like that. See? See, we came across our reflections like this. And that's a little bit of, you know, that's your zinc white. Like that. And just, there we go here. So there's our, so there's our little puddle. And I might take a little orange and say I'm going to have a little orange flower in here that I'm reflecting here like that. A little bit of yellow and red, make a little light orange. Okay, and then I think I can come over these flowers now, like that.
Marie would like to know what is the best way to allow for the fact that acrylic dry darker apart from adding another color later to lighten it back up. Get used to it?
I think you kind of know. You know what I mean? I think you just sort of, yeah, you do sort of get used to it. You sort of get to the feeling of that. You just kind of, you know, get in the habit of figuring out that that's what it's going to do. And you just kind of know. All right? That, I know that's kind of a hokey answer, but I would say that's a good, you know, that's my best answer is that a lot of colors need 2 coats of paint. All right, here's our little flag up here, and then this one had a little red flag here, like that. You know how those little mailboxes have a little red flag. I thought it might be fun if you wanted to custom make these. I thought might be very fun to maybe put your name on one of the mailboxes.
Oh, that would just make
you know, like
Coolness.
along here, you know, just write your name or something. I just thought
Sign,
that would
sign
be
your
kind of,
painting there.
you know, and also I thought this might be a, I mean, if you made this smaller, it might be a cute card. I mean, there's lots of things you can do with, you know, to me, my feeling with these mailboxes here. Here, let's just get a little bit of lighter color right here on the front of this one. So it's all about layers. I mean, that's the bottom line. This is all about layers. And so if you don't get something just too perfect, like for instance, you know, I didn't get this flag too perfect, but I can come in here with a darker layer, you know, whittle it down a little bit like that, make that flag a little smaller. And see what else could we...
Is mixing white the same as zinc mixing white? Somebody uses zinc mixing white as their name. Who is it? Liquitex does that?
Liquitex calls it mixing white. And zinc and Liquitex, if you read the bottle, the label, right? If you read it, it says it's part zinc white and part titanium. So see, I needed a little bit of light under that mailbox so that it showed up. You know what I mean? Wherever there's a light, there's a dark, that kind of stuff. So if you want something to show up and it's not showing up, like for instance, this little flag here is not really showing up. So, you know, you might just want to come up across here with another little, you know, kind of light leafy thing here. And then have it show up. Let me just, we got this down here like that. Maybe I want to, again, come down here with a little bit of yellow. Just touch up a little bit of light right down here on the thing.
Barbara would like to know, if you paint the paints with medium and varnish, do you still have to varnish the painting when you're done?
Probably not. Probably not. It's on there.
I would probably wait and see how it looks, because maybe not be as even.
You know, I just, you know, you probably don't have to. I mean, you know, in theory, you probably don't have to ever varnish. But I'm a big fan of varnishing. And let's see, I need to make this post a little smaller.
It just makes the colors pop so much more, and it protects it.
Oh yeah, it brings out the. If somebody were to give me my own little line of stuff, right, I would have a product called Color Popper, and all it would be a rebottled jar of varnish, and I'd tell you it was Color Popper, and it's going to make your colors pop, and all it would be varnish. I promise you, that's what it would be. Okay, so there's this coming down here like that. There's our little 2x4. See how the boards are kind of greenish colored, you know, which I think is really kind of cool, right?
Kind of like a moss.
Yeah, they're almost like a moss growing up on it. You know, I grew up in Washington State, and there was a lot of that. Let's just get a little bit lighter. Let's have a couple of these a little bit lighter. Like that.
Hey, would anybody like to have the number 2 question? The
sure.
roll of the number 2?
Sure.
Well, I knew you probably would, right?
Yeah, let's have that. Let's put a little in front of this board here. Let's bring a little of these down in front here, like that. Okay, what's the number 2 question?
Before being a museum, what was the Louvre Palace? A train station, a royal palace, or a hospital? Again, before being a museum, what was the Louvre Palace? A train station, a royal palace, a hospital?
That's a good question, isn't it, you guys? That's a very good question. Take a little bit of purple and white and put a little bit of that color in down in here.
Hey, is anybody trying to keep up with Ginger tonight? Oh,
You
here we
guys
go.
see
Jeanette
we're doing
has
purple and white?
palace, Frisky has hospital, Sue has train station, Janice has royal palace, Maureen has palace, Frisky goes with hospital.
I'm going to get out a little magenta.
Candy, royal palace, hospital for Robin. They're flying by now. Susan's train station, Kimson royal palace, Vicky royal palace, Ivan royal palace, Tammy hospital, Manette hospital, Julie palace, Christopher palace, Marty hospital, Sherry palace. Most people are going with palace as they go flying by. We do have
you know, John, I really would be guess. I don't know. I didn't know it was anything. I thought it was always that.
Well.
See? So that stumped the artist. That question stumped the artist. I didn't know.
I knew I could find a tough one. And this is apparently a tough one because everybody's got an opinion on this one. The answer is...
Yeah, we're waiting on bated breath.
I
what
know,
is it?
isn't that great how they always do that? And after these messages, we'll be back with that amazing answer. It's a royal palace. Da-da-da!
Well, I suppose the question, in a sense, when you did the question, right?
I know the way they
The way
worded
it was worded,
is a
it
Louvre
almost.
palace. What do you think it's going to be?
So that's, I mean, but I mean, honestly didn't know it was something else.
I didn't either, but
You know, that
now
that
we
to
do.
me is a very
And
interesting.
once again, we have educated you folks, and you learned something new for the night. So I think we're done.
Huh, that's fun. All right, so see how we're almost done here, you guys. You see how what I'm doing now is going through and just adding a few lights and darks now. You see, I'm almost, just sort of.
You're gingerizing it.
Well, I'm just, sometimes there's a little mailboxy thing here. I'm not trying to do too much detail, but I want a little bit darker, like next to them, like that. Just start adding my lights and shadows. That's what I'm doing now. It's just sort of, this is my brightest mailbox. So I'm going to add a little more white paint to this one, and make sure that I've got the top of this curved. Surprisingly, for an easy shape, it's an interesting shape. It's just a horseshoe shape, and you'd think it would be a little bit easier to just.
Oh, Megan
to
did a
get
little
to-
research for us. The Louvre Palace was originally built as a fortress in the late 12th century under Philip II. Remnants of the fortress are visible in the basement of the museum.
Really?
How can you go wrong with this stuff?
Well, it's just good to know. And then you don't. When you go over there, you won't seem like such a dumb American. And you go over there and they tell you this stuff. Go, no kidding. That is so interesting. I just had no idea. Yes, I knew that. It used to be a this, and you look at them. And, yes, of course I knew that. Everybody knows that. You fool. Of course we know that. I'm just saying. All
Why
right.
is live off-stream showing? Well, you're just lucky because mine's not. I'd say refresh or wait a second, it'll come back. It is blipping again tonight.
Is it blipping a little bit?
It's blipping.
Well, you know what? We're just, like I say, we're adding a few little lights and darks to our reflections. See, like that. We're just, in our puddle.
I
And
like
don't
that
forget
puddle.
when you do that, don't forget to cross over with a few little bits of white. I'm not using the hairdryer too much tonight, but
I haven't heard it go once, really.
yeah, you want to just a few little bits of white like that. Just kind of, really say. That's been my experience as a kid. Was that mud puddle business? You'd go out in front of. We had a mailbox like this. You had to go down to the mailbox and get the mail. It was one of the little jobs. My parents could have picked it up on the way home, but wouldn't you like to run and get the mail? And sometimes that could be fun. I remember doing that. All right, let's get our reference photo out again, because I want you to just kind of see what we've got. Now, see, all these mailboxes are so light and everything. I had to tone them down, and the reason I did that was because your eye just doesn't know where to look. All right, so even though this is a good reference for shape and everything, I wouldn't take it to the bank as far as just exactly, how it is. But I do want to get the back end of this. I want this curve back here like this. So the back end of this is curved. Where's the little pointy brush? That's what I'm looking for now. Little tiny pointy, the old pointy brush, right? When all else fails, get out a little tiny brush that does little points on, that I can just shape this.
Very careful.
Very careful like that, and that's not right. So let's just take that off. There. All right, now I'm gonna. You know why it didn't work? Because I had too much water on it. If you get too much water on, did you see how fat that line was? Now we go. This is the line I was looking for.
That's the line.
And I wasn't getting it, and I wasn't getting it because there was too much water on the brush. That's good to know, isn't it? That, when you're just trying to get something, just a little bit. I want a little bit lighter on this edge. Down here on in a couple of places. I'm just kind of looking here. And this, it would be great if I wanted just some tiny little, grasses like that. Just a few. You can take a smaller brush and just add a few. Just go up one color slightly lighter. Just wet the tip, and okay, something like that, and maybe even bring some over the road like this. Well, if you're going to do that, though, you actually got to put paint on the brush so it
Cheryl
covers it.
says, Ginger, you need to write a biography.
I don't know who would care. It's fun to tell the stories, but I'm not sure anybody really care. But I take that under advisement. We are
in the process
of writing some books, and I always think it's kind of fun to. My dad wrote a book. I'm going to have to show it to you. My dad wrote a book, The Judge. He self-published it, and he wrote a book, and I probably can still get it. It's called The Sword and the Gavel by William J. Wilkins. Probably can still get it. Probably somebody has it on Amazon. Somebody has that book. And anyway, he wrote that book, and let's see, I'm out of yellow. That's what's happened. I'm almost done here, you guys. Kind of cute, though, isn't it? Just sort of a fun little picture. And he told the story about his life, and there's a chapter, and they adopted these 5 kids. I think there's one small mention of us in the book. There's a chapter, like one chapter talks about the kids. The rest of the time, and this is about, we were always a footnote in their lives. I think it's extraordinary you could adopt 5 kids, and anyway. But there's a little bit about them, and of course he did have a very interesting life, because he was a judge on the Nuremberg trials, and that was before I was born, and let's see, I think I had a little one down here. How many I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We need one more, right?
Wait. You got one over there on the far left.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I see 4.
9, 10, right? 10.
Oh, that's not 2 there on the right?
There's 2 here.
Oh,
That's
that's not 3, that little...
No, that's
Okay.
that's 2. That's 2. I think I want one
you
here.
need one more.
I think I want one right there. And people are going, why do you care? Because you kind of want uneven numbers. You want things that are a little bit uneven. Let's just do a little bit of white here. There, okay, so we're going to put a little one there, and then again I want a little bit of this color in the water, or it might be reflecting in there like that. That's kind of pretty, isn't it? I don't think any of these would be reflecting. We could pretend they were. And let's see, make sure that we didn't lose our reflection here. Let's zoom back out. So anyway, he wrote this book, and there's some kind of fun family photos in it and stuff. I don't know. Here, I think on the mailbox, I like this. There was a little white thing right here, a little box right here on the mailbox in the photo, and that makes it feel pretty authentic. Okay, so I'm kind of just changing the angle on this one. A small brush like this at the very end can be very handy. That's all I'll tell you. That something like this can be very handy at the very end to kind of get your and there's a little thing that comes up like that on the mailbox like that. That's pretty close, though, don't you guys think?
I think it's very close.
And I mean, here we go, like that. I like this one a little better in the sense that I kind of straighten the back out of the, when you do something the second time, it's always kind of better, right? So anyway, we're talking about paint, and the thing that we've decided is that with paint, if you should, when you buy paint, you should open it right away, and don't just keep it in the cupboard forever and then just look and decide that the paint's not good. The colors that are most likely to go badly for you are burnt umber, raw umber, and yellow. Those are the colors that are gonna, when I say badly, they're most likely to kind of seize up on you, get real hard. So and white, check those. Paints don't freeze well, so you can't really blame a manufacturer if somehow when the paint got to you it was frozen. Okay, Golden, apparently, according to my daughter, Golden has told her that they bake their paint where it can be frozen 4 or 5 times. Well, but maybe your truck went through 4 or 5 places where it froze and thawed. You don't know, right? So
Rebecca is asking, you've mentioned your mother was an artist. Will you show us some of her work?
My adopted mother was an artist. In fact, I'll bring that book up and show it to you. She painted everything in browns. I was all about color, and everything was in browns. And she was big on, that she took some sumi ink lessons and stuff, and so everything that she did, she liked to paint in neutrals and earth tones. That was her big thing. The house was in earth tones. Everything was in greens and browns. And I remember as a teenager, wanting to deck. You know how you're a kid and you suddenly there's an age when you suddenly decide that your room has a environment. You know what I mean? And then you want to have some control over it. So I remember this. I wanted to decorate my room, and the shag rugs had come out, and I was all excited about that. And I wanted a shag rug, and I had all this stuff. And she got me one for Christmas, and it was brown. Rug was brown. Everything was brown. Honestly, I kid you not. Okay.
Did you know that Ginger Snaps is a Canadian horror film?
No, I hadn't heard that. But then I'm not real familiar with Canadian films, though occasionally I watch them. And I'll tell you the films. Some of my favorite films are some Australian films, and I love. Boy, the thing is that by the time films make it to the States, we get the really good ones. I mean, I loved Quigley Down Under and The Man from Snowy River. Anybody ever see that show, Man from Snowy River? That was a number of years ago. There was a British film I really liked called Enchanted April. It was really cool. All right, I think we're going to I would say that we're pretty good here. I would say we should just, before we get too carried away, we should just call it a day and sign it. What do you think?
Giovanni would like to know, how long do paints last before they go bad?
Well, that's the thing. I've had some for 17 years. I can still open and they're fine.
Yeah.
And then I've had some I've had for 3 years and they hardened up. Now, did I open it and not put it back? A lot of it could be paint husbandry. Some people, for instance, say, like, if you have a jar like this, right? All right, so what you're supposed to do you're supposed to clean all the way around the outside of this, like this, make sure there's nothing. And then some people say put some saran wrap over it and then close it.
Yep.
To seal it, and that will seal it. I mean, people have thought this out, and but I found that I generally more likely to do that to the Liquitex ones than I am to the golden. I've had golden stuff, for years. I write dates on everything when I buy it, which is a good thing to do. I try to date it, a little bit when I'm buying it, so that I know. Let's see, I'm still working a little bit on the light part. I know we said we were quitting, but it's all fun talking to you guys. I hope this is fun. I hope you're having fun. I enjoy talking to you guys and visiting. When I'm filming a video all by myself, I'm just, I'm out here just all by myself. What
am I, chopped liver?
Well, I often film, John, and you're not in the room. I'm just filming all by myself.
Oh,
and, you know what I mean? And I don't have anybody to talk to. I know, and I don't have anybody to talk to. And
Sammy won't help you?
No, and I'm all by myself here. See, just lightening that up made a difference, didn't it?
I did.
Well, I don't know. I think these mailboxes are on their last little stand, aren't they?
I get it. Are those 4x4s or 2x2s? 2x4s.
These are 2x4s.
No, they aren't.
Okay.
Get out the photograph. Look at the photograph. It looks square.
It doesn't. These look thinner here and then there.
They look like
these are 2x.
Those are probably 4x6s then.
Well, now you have a whole new word. I don't know, what is that.
It's a 4x6.
What does that mean?
It's 4 on one side, 6 on the other.
No, it isn't. This is like
it's not a 2x4. See the top? See how skinny the top is? What they're resting on? That's your 2 inches. And that's thicker.
2 inches, and that's this here. Yeah, absolutely. That's 2 inches.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. You guys have to get the photograph. So. We'll let you weigh in next time we all talk to you, because he's wrong, right?
Whoa. Me wrong?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Hard to believe, isn't it? But
No.
we think he's wrong, right? And then let's just put a few little light bits here on our board like that. And there's our board like that. A little bit like that.
Sandra just made it. It's 4 a.m. for her.
Oh, thank you. 4 a.m. Oh, my gosh. We're so sorry.
Why are we sorry? She's the one that woke up and wanted to play with us.
Yeah, but we're sorry anyway. But,
sorry, guys, but my pillow is screaming at me.
It's, yeah. Well, you turn the, look, it's just, we're sorry. We are sorry. You're sorry, John. You tell her you're sorry.
We are
you tell her you're
we
sorry.
are so sorry, Sandra.
You say sorry.
I cannot believe how sorry we are.
You say sorry,
Sorry. Remember that game, Sorry? I love Sorry. Sorry. Or Partigi? Did you play Partigi?
Yeah.
That was a good game.
Did you do that? I hate the game I didn't like was Monopoly.
Oh, this went on forever.
It went on forever. I mean, did you have years to play it? I guess people that went on to that and then started Dungeons and Dragons, they got so involved with that, they decided they wanted a never-ending story, never-ending game. Now, don't you have a great-looking puddle now?
You have a super-looking puddle.
Really great-looking puddle, don't we?
That is one of the better puddles I have ever seen.
It truly is, isn't it? It's just a remarkable puddle.
I think that is a puddle that goes into the Louvre. That used to be the Royal Palace.
All right, so now here we go. This is fun. We're going to come right up here like this.
Hey, we just went offline automatically.
What happened?
I don't know. Now we're back again.
Oh, we're back again, and then we weren't?
Oh, man, who knows what's going on.
Well, listen, we appreciate it. Any other questions? And oh, I got to show you guys this. This is one of my favorite pictures. Zoom back out, would you?
Yes, ma'am.
This is one of my favorite pictures. This was a guy by the name of Homer. Last name Homer, first name Winslow.
We think.
Now, I've been calling him Winslow Homer the whole time I'm teaching the video, but John looked at it. He says, look where the comma is. But I keep saying, who names a kid Winslow? Because it's W-I-N-S-L-O-W, so they're going to call him Slow for short. I mean, that would be just a nightmare growing up, wouldn't it? But anyway, regardless, again, fabulous artist, and he was really into sort of life Americana life in the 1800s. This was done in about, just early 1800s. And Roy Whitling. That's going to be in our one of our releases in May for our members. If you're a member, gingercooklive.gallery, you don't want to miss out on that. And for you guys that are hanging with us on YouTube while we're on vacation, check this out. This is our Honduras vacation.
Getaway. Honduras is a getaway.
Honduras getaway. And this is from one of the photographs we took on our vacation. That will be a YouTube one, and that will be coming while we're gone. And then I wanted to show you this. I love this. This is an abstract rose. This will be on YouTube and coming up in the weeks while we're gone. This will be ones we're featuring. And then this is another one, which I think will be really pretty. This is lilacs and flowers. This is going to be on YouTube. This will be one of our ones. And then for our members, you guys who have been following along with all these great kitchen ones, check out this. This is our rainbow cabbage and onions, and that's part of our garden series.
It colorful cabbage because it's not really a rainbow.
Well, whatever. But in any event, it's
it'll be
notice
there.
How my signature's in purple.
I love that.
Like that.
You went back to
glazed over it because it's too white. So this is one that's coming up on for our members. We got some great paintings. We have been not sitting idly by with you guys. We have been making sure that we caught up with stuff. Let's see, I'm dropping things all over the floor. I had a brush I was signing stuff with before I got so distracted like a child.
Chrissy had a question, and it's gone by, and I need Christy to ask that question again if she would like an answer.
Yeah, ask that again, Christy, because I've just lost my brush.
We could be here for another half hour.
You saw me. I had it. I was signing stuff with it,
We could back up the film. Oh, wait a minute. We bleeped out, so we may not be able to.
Uh-oh.
You had it a second ago. Is it under the painting? Sometimes things hide there.
Huh. I had it, Jen. It's little. Oh. I don't know. It's not that one, but I'll finish with this one. Note to self: find the other one, right?
And you want to know what we're doing tomorrow?
Packing.
Yeah, tune in tomorrow, and we'll let you know. Tomorrow's not here yet.
We don't know. We're still designing paintings. We got everything done except these last 2 days. Come on, you guys. We think we did pretty good. I came up with this one this afternoon. I think that's pretty good, don't you?
I think so.
But I like this. I mean, I've been looking forever to do a mailbox picture, so this one actually makes me very happy to do this. And I want a little bit brighter here on our little flag here, and I want this a little bit brighter up here like that. There we go. A little bit brighter on the red flag, maybe a little tiny touch of red.
Oh, what are you thinking about the Bristol-on brushes?
Love the Bristol-on brushes.
I'm glad you asked that question,
I
Rebecca.
love those Bristol-on brushes. Those are fabulous brushes. You know, I'm one of those people. Cinnamon promises me that there's even a small pointy brush to end all pointy brushes. I've got to hand it to Cinnamon. She went out and she found some great brushes. And besides the Ruby Satin Silvers, because that's the same company, you know, that's sponsoring Cinnamon. And yes, she is my daughter. And someone actually wrote the other day and said, "Are you guys related?" And I want to just mention this, that, since I'm her mother, she's technically related to me. I'm just saying, but that's okay. I mean, not to count hairs, right? But split hairs, I guess, right? That's
split hairs, yeah.
Split hairs. So, Cinnamon and I had discussions some years ago about brushes, and she actually got onto a brush manufacturer, a big one, and had asked him if there were any improvements in brushes, and he said no, nothing had changed in a bunch of years. And when the Silver Brush Company approached her, she didn't approach them. They watched her show and approached her, and she's been testing brushes. They are custom making brushes. This is unheard of, you guys. They are custom making brushes for her. She'll send them back and say, "This isn't quite right, fix this, I want this changed, I need this." They developed a filament, and a new white filament just for her brushes. I'm excited about this. And look, you're always proud when your kids do good, and she's doing really good, and I'm very proud of her. But I'm really, selfishly as an artist, I'm excited that somebody is listening to an artist when it comes to how we want our brushes, because there seems to be a real disconnect from the end user on a lot of these materials and the people that make them. And it's so far down the food chain to talk to anybody that would hear us. And she's got a voice, and boy, we're all going to benefit from that. I got to tell you, very much. And when these brushes come up, I'll put them on my website, and I absolutely will, and I'll also make sure that they're in my teacher's page on the Brush Guys too, because we're just about getting the best materials. I'm always looking for the better brush, kind of like the fountain of youth for some people. I want the next best brush, I want the brush, and apparently she's found some, and I'm excited. And I love the bristle-on brushes, by the way.
So you find those are what, stiffer?
Huh?
Are they stiffer?
Well, they're slightly, here's the thing. Here's what you want. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Well, sure.
Let's take a second to talk about it.
It's just a couple of sitting around.
All right. So look, here's a brand. Look, I bought everything. I didn't ask her for it. I asked Cinnamon to send me, and I went and bought these myself, right? This is a number 12 silver Bristol-on brush, okay? And what you want, can I have one of those canvases of yours, John? Can I, one that you've got that you painted on? I'll show you guys how this works. What you want with a brush, this is a bright brush, and we're not talking school teacher smart. We're just talking about bright, like it's squared off, okay? And here's my ruby satin silvers, which I've done for years, and these are both fairly new brushes. And what you'll notice is, everybody's kind of happy with this, right? Oh, take this one, thank you. All right, so here's some. Let me just move this out of the way. Here's some canvas, right? Now, first off, when you get a new brush, you've got to kind of wet it, make sure you've got the starch off of it or whatever they put on there, to keep it nice in the store. So, all right, now I've got this. Now I'm going to let's just take some color. I've got some left over, right? Now I'm going to do this like that. Now when I push, see, that covers pretty well, but now look at this. Now, it's got a real edge to it. See? So I can just get a little bit more damper on the brush here like that. Let's load it up a little more. Here's look at that fine edge I'm getting on this brush. You see how thin that is? So if I need to cut into something like that and make some precision brush strokes where I need to do a cutting edge, literally a cutting edge, it will do that for me, all right? And it holds a lot of paint, and it has some beautiful coverage and nice spring to it. Now, then that's absolutely great. There's still paint left on here. See, I can push hard, lift up. There's still paint. Now, here's a ruby satin silver, same bright brush, and I'm going to wet it and kind of pull it to a point because I want the knife blade, right? And let's see, let's just do it like this. There we go. So that does that too. And then here's my knife blade. And it's similar. Almost can get it. Not quite as refined as that one. I'm close. But if you're talking about just getting a thin line, the other one has a slightly more chiseled edge to it. Now this is fine for painting. I mean, I like a brush like this. This is absolutely fine for painting. not the least bit unhappy. And when you come up here like this, can you know? But I don't quite have the, and again, this is great for blending if I want something like this. I take it like that and then blend all this in. I mean, I've been using these brushes for years. It's just that when you find something you're better, you're going, oh, that's cool.
That's a number 12 you're playing with there?
Yeah, it's a number 12. And this Bristolon was a number 12. All right, so I'm just saying that it has, and they're both brand new, so I'm not, you know what I mean, they're both brand new, so, see what I mean? You're just getting, it has a little bit of a finer, I guess what I would tell you is it has a bit of a finer edge. That's what I would tell you. It has a slightly finer edge to it. A little sharper edge, a little bit, you know, that's what I like though. The minute I tried one, I'm going, okay, I need the whole set. And I'm not throwing away the others. I'm just saying I want that, you know, we're like that. You know, if you find a good mascara you've been using for years and somebody else comes back out with a better one, you're going, yay, hey, I'm buying that one, you know?
Right, I think we finally got Frisky Christie's question.
Oh, yeah, Christie's. I think I want to, if you had a question, I've got this from her. Cinnamon gave me this the other day. What's your question?
How much use do you think you should be able to get out of a mid-range price brush before you consider a good value?
Oh, you can't answer a question like that because it depends on how you use your brush. Some people can get a brush that will last them for years, and other people will have it gone in a month. It's how you treat a brush. And, you know, I'm more likely to have it gone in a month than for years, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm much more likely on the month end than the years because I do a lot more painting. You guys, I do a tremendous amount of painting. Incidentally, I think this is from you. The Cinnamon said that this came in the mail from her, for her, and it had my name on it. And this is, I think this is from Christie's. And so I wanted to open that on the show. And if it isn't you, then I'll thank whoever else. But I thought it was you. All right. Whoo, look at this, you guys. Wait.
Wait, there's still more.
There's still more. All right. So I love you little gifties. Thank you very much. You know, whatever. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay.
What is that?
Ooh, it's a crystal.
It looks like it comes from Superman.
No. This is, it says from, I got glasses on reading, it said it's quartz from Madagascar. Oh my gosh. That is beautiful. Look at that. Here, look at that. Isn't that
That's from
pretty?
Daisy.
Daisy?
Who's Daisy? I've never seen Daisy's name.
This is from Daisy?
Well, that's what Christy's saying.
From Daisy. Okay, well.
Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you, Daisy. I love it very much. So it wasn't...
Daisy F.
Well, I got to say that I went over to Cinnamon's this weekend. I made a point. I haven't been over there in over a month and a half since she got back from the art show. Every time I'm going over, the grandkids are sick or somebody's sick or we're not well or something happened, right? So I haven't been over there in a while. And I need to straighten this out right here like that.
Daisy watches Cinnamon.
Oh, Daisy watches Cinnamon.
Well, if you guys are over on Cinnamon's, thank her for us.
So,
or bring her over here and let us know when she's in. We'll thank her personally.
So, anyway, what was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So there were 5 brand new ruby satin silver brushes waiting for me as a gift from the silver company and of the angle brushes. And plus I got a nifty apron. Do you have my apron?
It's hanging on the wall.
Oh gosh, I can't get it. I'll show you tomorrow.
That's what tomorrow's are for.
I'll show you tomorrow. That's what tomorrow's are for. And I went and those are the first gifty brushes I've ever gotten. So I was very excited to get them. And because you know me, I just absolutely love these brushes, and they're my favorite. But and Bristolon does not make an angle brush, though that could change. All right, and I'm going to put something here like that.
Megan says that the clear quartz crystal absorbs any negative energy.
Oh, that's good to know. Wow, we should just should put that by the phone, huh? That's good. All right. Well, thank you. We again appreciate that very much. You really do just appreciate that very much. And I think we're done. I don't know why I keep wanting to play with this picture, but you know, it's always fun talking to you guys. We always have a good time. Hope you enjoy painting this. And you know, you could put other flowers in. I mean, these happen to be in the picture. Again, you can see these were the flowers that were in the picture. I just moved them over because they were kind of weird, right?
Off there by themselves.
Off by themselves. So that's rendition. That's a good word, isn't it? It's a good time to end then, right?
I'm afraid so.
All right, we're gone, you guys. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.
Why does YouTube not like us?
I don't know. Why don't they? I give up. Why don't they like us?
I don't know either. Well, everybody, if you're out there and you can hear us, thanks so much, and we will see you tomorrow night, 7:30 Central. We think. We'll see if Sam can bring him back up. Brushes down.
Brushes down. All done. Yay, us. Thanks,
Yay,
you guys.
us.
Thanks for playing. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Yeah, we're out.
Good picture.